I don't need to go, and I don't need anything. I'm living on the road. I'll take the wind and the sky, the cold rain on my skin. When I taste that dirty water, I know I'm home again.
Welcome to Maverick Fish Hunter. Today we're on the St. Mary's River system investigating the disappearance of the fabled king salmon. The fate of the kings are held in the balance as we search all possible reasons for the massive decline. My name is Troy Isaac, and I'm an avid sports fisherman and a conservation advocate. Come with us as we explore remote destinations in search of mysterious endangerment and the ultimate success stories, all while we hunt these animals in the dark waters of the world from PWCs. We're here in Sault Ste. Marie, leaving Bellevue Marina, getting out on the strait, a little morning fog to contend with, hitting the fishing grounds. This is the St. Mary's Rapids area. Excellent trout fishing, salmon, you name it, it's in here. Very shallow. You would not want to run a boat in here with a prop. A little higher up in the rapids, gets a little rough. Red markers indicate the channel for shipping. We're into something almost right away. Nice trout, rainbow, steelhead. The difference between rainbow and steelhead is only where they're from. Steelheads generally larger lakes, rainbows usually from rivers, streams. Different diet, I would think. That is a nice rainbow. See the green, black spots on the back, pink, red down the sides, and silver on the belly. It's a beautiful, beautiful fish. Just a work of art, really. Beautiful cloud cover today, just enough to keep the sun off your face. You see the motion of the rods on the Maverick handlebar bracket. That's what I call jig trolling. So effective. So effective. One of the Maverick bags we use to carry tackle, cameras, gloves, hats, sunglasses, you name it, it's there. Well, we're heading back in for the day. Catch up to you shortly. Chris, what role do you guys play in the enforcement division of the MNR?
So, as a conservation officer with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, I provide law enforcement services for the Ministry of Natural Resources. So, the MNR itself administers over 27 different pieces of legislation, so everything from fisheries to wildlife to aggregates to forestry. So, we provide law enforcement services underneath that legislation.
While you guys are out on patrol on the water, if you run across somebody that is breaking the law as far as the fishery is concerned, what enforcement means can you use to prosecute or detain this person?
So it's all going to come back to the circumstances behind what the person is doing. So it could result in something as simple as a warning or education. And that might curtail or curb that action from taking place in the future. Then we also have Part 1 offense notices, or tickets, as some people might say. And if you feel that that's gonna, if the activity that or the act that the person is committing warrants a ticket, then we may issue a person that. For more serious offenses, it could result in a court appearance at court, as well as property seizures and that kind of thing. And through the court system, we could end up ultimately obtaining forfeitures of property, a monetary penalty, and potentially even jail time, depending on on how serious the violation is.
Gill nets that are used in Canadian waters, are they required to have any kind of identification on them?
Yeah, every net needs to be marked. You need to be able to identify who the net belongs to, so whether it's a license number, the fisher's name, or that kind of thing, and it's going to be set out in that fisher's commercial license conditions. And they're supposed to be marked in a particular way as well.
I have to assume that these nets that were found were not marked.
Some of the nets were marked, yeah. But some of them, again, they've been left in the water for an extended period of time, so Lake Superior will do its course on them, and maybe they end up being not marked when we come across them. So.
Find very many nets up there? Is that something that is common?
We do have a commercial fishery on Lake Superior as well as Lake Huron, at Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. It's across Great Lakes, so I wouldn't say that it's common to come across nets, but you do on occasion.
In the local news, there has been some gill nets that were found on Lake Superior. Could you tell us a little bit about what the circumstances of that situation was?
Well, since November 2014, we've come across approximately 12 occurrences of lost and or abandoned gill nets on Lake Superior, as well as the North Channel of Lake Huron. 6 of those cases turned up no leads. They've basically been dead in the water, essentially, and the other 6 remain active investigations, which I can't really speak to the details of.
Is that something that is that something that's typical, that situation of gill nets? Did that happen in 2016 and 15 as well?
Like the lost, so all those occurrences have taken place since November 2014. So throughout the year, spread throughout the years.
I see. Was that happening before 2014? Is this?
I can't speak to that because I wasn't here pre-2014. So
all right. Okay.
I've only been here since 2014. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Have any of the cases been resolved?
No, they're still working their way through the process, so they remain active investigations. So a lot of these things take years to get through.
What ocean did the king salmon originate from? Back on St. Mary's Rapids, we're into another trout. Yes, sir, another trout. This one looks more like a steelhead than a rainbow. Again, you'll remember that's really the same species, just a different environment. Water's pretty clear for late fall. Hello. Bottom is beautiful here, perfect for spawn. In the net he goes. Not a bad steelhead. They come in here in the spring and the fall. They'll come in to spawn. They'll come in to follow the salmon spawning. Raiding parties on their eggs and hatches. Doing a little jig trolling. Let's go underwater. Check out this large rainbow. Hitting the rod, hitting the reel, hitting the lure. Very nice steelhead. Beauty. A lot of people, this would be a once-in-a-lifetime steelhead. Just gorgeous. We're using a GTX Sea-Doo 155, 2007. Beautiful underwater shot. We use Kuma rods and reels, spinning rods and reel outfits, mounted on Ram rod holders on Maverick brackets. Beautiful. Look at the size of that guy. He's almost across. He has a little bit of pink, red down the sides, and his back is just a little bit green. Well, this is something different. I'm guessing either Atlantic late fall, getting ready for spawn, or it's a brown. Can't quite tell. Well, the markings look like brown, but it has the shape of an Atlantic. Let's have a little closer look underwater. Nice looking fish. Nice and healthy, lots of fight left in it, so it's either pre-spawn or not spawning at all, just chasing other fish to spawn. He's hit a split body crankbait. Beautiful fish. Look at the red spots on the side. Looks so much like a brown trout. They are a fair rarity in these waters though, browns. I have caught a couple trophy browns out of this area, but I'd have to go, this is an Atlantic. Late fall Atlantic. Nice fish. Atlantics are stocked by the LSSU Fish Hatchery on the U.S. side, Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Brining, egg brine. Use the skeletons for soup stock. Nothing goes to waste. What ocean did king salmon originate from? You guessed Pacific. You were right. Greg, what's your position with the MNRF?
Yeah, well, I'm a management biologist here at the Sault Ste. Marie District with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. And we have a number of biologists across Ontario.
Greg, I want to ask you, as far as conservation goes, does poaching in this area have any real effect on numbers, or is it too small a number to be really considered?
Well, poaching or any kind of illegal activity, it really hurts everyone involved because of all the efforts that we make with our partners and everybody else, you know, and the hatchery to try to raise fish, or in the case of natural stocks, you know.
You know, a lot of questions are based around how does a person find out what lakes are stocked? Because I do know that you guys want people to go to these stock lakes. That's why you've put fish in there in the first place, to possibly take pressure off of lakes that need the pressure taken off. So how does a fisherman go into an area and find out what lake he should actually be going to?
Yeah, well, if you have an area in mind, let's say it's north of Sault Ste. Marie, for example, you know, say up in the Ranger Lake area, for example, and you're saying, I'd like to focus on, you know, this geographic area. First thing I would do is you could go to Fish Online. So you just, again, type in ontario.ca, just type in Fish Online, and you can actually zero in on individual lakes. And if it's been stocked, if that lake has been stocked, it will come up with the year that it was stocked, the number of fish that were stocked in that lake. Alternatively, if you're just kind of wanting to know in general within a larger geographic area, you could contact your local MNRF district office.
Paul, what are some of the species that are bred here?
Well, we have rainbow trout, we have brown trout, and we have lake trout. But within those, and we have some brook trout as well. Within those species, we have several different strains. So we have actually 5 strains of lake trout that we breed here.
So now we're in the egg room.
Yeah. So the white eggs are actually the eggs that have passed away. Egg stage, if you look really close, you can see eyes. So we have fish food's made out of a lot of different things. So it's made out of fish meal, bone meal, feather meal, you know, and all that stuff is made. It's made like the same way that you make a chicken pellet or a rabbit pellet. And then after they make the pellet, they spray it with fish oil, and that raises the protein content. So it's very efficient. The fish convert the food very, very well. So this is our broodstock room, and some people wonder why it's so dark in here. It's dark because, of course, these lake trout are living at like 60 feet. So there's not a lot of light down there, so we try to keep the lights dim to try and keep them calm. They don't like a lot of light. So these are, actually these are browns. So these are Ganny browns in here, and they love to jump, and that's why we have the screens on.
So this is the larger fish area for the fingerlings and your broodstock?
Yeah, this is what we call our broodstock room. So all our adult broodstock are held in this room.
Ryan, what are we looking at here? These are absolutely gorgeous fish.
Yeah, Troy, these are Iroquois Bay strain lake trout. These fish originate in Lake Huron. These are all females that have already spawned, so we keep them separate from the females that haven't spawned, just so we're not handling the fish as much.
Fish stocking improves recreational fishing by rearing and releasing popular sport fish like walleye, salmon, and trout. Stocking the lakes and rivers popular with anglers, repopulating overfished lakes and rivers, supplying community fish hatcheries. Fish stocking also protects and rebuilds fish populations, including species at risk. For example, the program is helping to return Atlantic salmon to Lake Ontario. Which species of Pacific salmon grows to be the largest? Stephen, how do we monitor the commercial fishing industry in the Great Lakes?
Yep. So monitoring is done at a couple different levels. Commercial fishermen are required to report their catch on what's called the daily catch report.
Mm-hmm.
And so daily catch reports, when a fisherman brings in their catch, they're required to provide the data from that catch, and it goes on a form called the DCR, or Daily Catch Report. And we use this data, the catch, and in combination, what's reported on that is how much net was used to catch those fish. And this allows us to calculate or determine a variety of statistics. One of the predominant one is catch per unit of effort. So let's say how many fish are caught in a given number of meters of net, and this gives us an indication of relative abundance of a particular species in the lake.
When a commercial fisherman is bringing in his catch, is it on the honor system for his reporting?
To a certain extent, yes. It's the honor system that they're required to report. There are enforcement staff that are following up on these reports. So when daily catch reports are submitted, I would say that that part of it is on the honor system, but there's certainly monitoring by enforcement staff as well to look at the activities of fishers as well, just as they are in the sport fishery. So zebra mussels are also taking up, productivity in the system. And it's hard to know exactly what's going to happen when you have such a variety of species like that. But in general, the smelt numbers are down currently. The forage base for Pacific salmon has not been strong. So their numbers, they're not able to support as high a population as they were in the past. Alewife, also a non-native species, was a predominant food source for Pacific salmon as well. And those species numbers are down. And the system's almost reverting back to a more natural state in the sense that more native ciscos are coming back, becoming a little bit more abundant. And there's actually rehabilitation efforts for those species as well. And lake trout are starting to come back as well in parts of Lake Huron as well. So that top predator complex is changing.
Which species of Pacific salmon grows to be the largest? If you guessed Chinook or king salmon, you'd be right. Next week on Maverick Fish Hunter, we'll be in Florida Keys fishing yellowtail, snook, snapper, mackerel, shark, swordfish, and cobia. We're back on the St. Mary's Rapids one more time, looking for that Chinook. The whole show is about trying to find one of those elusive devils. They are hard to find. I fish this area on a regular basis. Used to be able to get 5, 6 per season. Be lucky to get one nowadays. But we thought we'd give it a shot. What we have here is a beautiful, beautiful male rainbow. Just a clunker. Pretty much a trophy, I'd say. The steelhead get bigger than this, but for a rainbow, you're about to see a nice fish. Oh yeah. Nice male rainbow. Look at this beautiful, beautiful fish. See the white tips on the fins? That's when you know you've got a large, mature rainbow. This guy, he's breeding stock. I put him back. Thanks for coming out in the water with Maverick Fish Hunter. We'll see you next time. Tight lines. Keep your eyes open.